Welcome back to Down the Rabbit Hole. My name is Breezy, and here we talk about random topics such as places, events in history, people, just the randomness things. So we are on episode 15, and we're going to be talking about probably one of the most famous lakes today. Now, if you're new here, please hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications, and please subscribe, help a girl out. But anyway, I just want to also say happy 4th to everybody. I hope you're out there being safe. I hope you're out there not drinking and driving. Just remember, it's a holiday weekend and please be careful. Let's use our common sense this weekend. But anyway, this lake is probably the most known. It's been featured in, I think, famously in the Tyler Perry's Medea's Boo movies, as the haunted lake. I love Tyler Perry. I love Medea movies. And I'm like, let's talk about Lake Lanier. I was trying to figure out what is the fun places and supposedly haunted places to talk about. Anyway, so where is Lake Lanier? What is it? Well, Lake Lanier is a reservoir in the northern part of Georgia. It was completed. It was completed at the Beaufort Dam on the Chattahoochee in 1956. It also feeds the waters of the Chestatee River and it encompasses about 38,000 acres of water with 692 miles of shoreline above sea level. Now, the lake was named after Confederate poet Sidney Lanier, and it was built and operated by the Army engineers in flood course and supplies. Now, here's the thing. Lake Lanier is around the Atlanta area. And most y'all know, I will never drive in Atlanta. I will go through Atlanta as a passenger, but never drive in it because I was planning a trip to Savannah a couple of years ago, and I've always heard Atlanta's traffic is something beyond itself. So I was looking for alternative routes to go around Atlanta. Don't judge. Anyway, this lake is patrolled by the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, as well as local law enforcement. In the states, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida all have rights to the water of the reservoir, and it fees going through these areas. Now, during the droughts of the 21st century, the lake reached record lows, and regional actions have been needed to reduce the area's water usage. So, what counties does this lake take up? It takes up Hall, Forsyth, Dawson, Gwinnett, and Lumpkin counties. And it is one of the main purposes of the lake is for flood control of the Chattahoochee downstream. So it's mainly protecting Metro Atlanta. Since the construction of the Beaufort Dam, there's only like 30 flooding events that have occurred downstream section. And the most severe flooding was in 2009, and this was prior to the groundbreaking of the reservoir in 1915. The town of Oscarville occupied part of the current location of the lake. So Oscarville was a small African American community in the site of a 1912 lynching, resulting in the forced displacement of all 1,100 African American residents from Forsyth County by the white residents, and the black residents comprised about 10% of the population of the time, and the current African American population is about 4% of the area's population. That's a bunch of numbers, I know. I try to simplify it as much as possible. But anyway, so the lake's original purpose, like I said, was to provide hydroelectricity, navigation, and flood control for the Chattahoochee and water supply for the city of Atlanta. This was a $1 million project and it was authorized by Congress in 1946. What do we know about 1946? We know it was the year after the war and everything. So, ground was broken on the Beaufort Dam March 1st, 1950. A stretch of the Georgia Highway 53 that ran close to the planned shoreline had to be abandoned, and Gainesville's Loop or Speedway was also condemned and abandoned. So more than $2 million have been spent by the courts over preliminary construction, with the House Committee of Appropriations that refused to provide more funds in June 1951. And during that summer, Atlanta Mayor William Hartsfield traveled to Washington numerous times, pressuring Southern Democrat Senators Richard Russell Jr. and Walter F. George to restore the funding to ensure Atlanta's water supply during droughts. And now Hartsville will return to into Washington in 1955 to lobby for $11 million for the dam, and which had the target completion date of 1956, again stressing the importance of the adequate water supply for the growing city. Now, Congress would approve the funds, and the dam would be completed and open to schedule. So, on February 1st, 1956, Lake Lanier began filling with the sluice of gates and the Beaufort Dam was closed. Now, the dam was in operation between June and October 1957 that same year. Morgan Falls Dam, located 20 miles downstream, was raised to regulate the flow from Beaufort Dam and regulate the flow of water to Atlanta. So, Beaufort Dam was dedicated on October 9th, 1957 and everything. And Lake Lanier reached its intended full pool level on August 1st, 1958. Approximately 1 year initially expected due to droughts. So, in the early 1958 in the region, they had 2 solid months of drought, which had left the Chattahoochee and its tributaries nearly dry. And it is not for the construction of the Beaufort Dam in the reserve of the Lake Lanier. So since the 90s, the Corps of Engineers, Florida, Georgia, and Alabama have been fighting with water held in Lake Lanier. And federal law mandates that when a river flows between two or more states, that each state has the right to be equal shares of the water. Very interesting, right? Anyway, additionally, laws have Endangered Species Act require that the water be available to preserve and support threatening or endangered species that live around the Chattahoochee River in the Apalachicola Bay. Oh my gosh! Okay. Has anybody heard the song "Southern Voice" by Tim McGraw? So when I hear that I always want to just go there in my head. But anyway, um, in June 2006, the USACE revealed that their new lake gauge of the dam was replaced in December 2005, and the properly calibrated yielding lakes began nearly 2 feet. And this was above already planned excess releases to support the successful spawning of the Gulf sturgeon in the Apalachicola River to protect several species of oysters from the bay. So, on October 16, 2007, Governor Perdue gave the USACE until the evening of October 17th to come up with a plan to continue release the water to the Florida wildlife. So, now there's got to be some lawsuits revolving around Lake Lanier. Well, the Lake Lanier Olympic Park hosted the canoe sprint and the rowing competitions for the 1996 Summer Olympics. And in the 2003 ICF Canoe Sprint World Championships, 2016 American Sprint Canoe Kayak Championships, and the ICF Dragon Boat World Championships 2018. Um, in July 2009, a federal judge from Minnesota ruled that Congress never authorized Lake Lanier to be used as a source of water to supply Metro Alabama. Georgia was given 3 years to start withdrawing from the water unless Congress authorized it, or if the other two states using the water from the reservoir came to an agreement about this. So the Atlantic Commission chairman noted that if enforced, cutting drinking water to 75% of current users in the region will require disaster aid from FEMA. So, how is this lake used as recreation? Well, over 10 million people visit this lake annually, and it's including the marinas in Lake Lanier and the rowing. There's many like rowing events and stuff that happen here. So, and many parks in the area too. Um, I heard like one time, like someone told me that it takes an hour to get from Atlanta to Atlanta. That's what I heard. Even the Grizzlies are from Atlanta. But there are many places that open there. Now, here's the part where you really want to know, right? Due to the displaced cemeteries and unmarked graves, Lake Lanier submerged during its creation. The body of water rumored to be haunted with ghosts. Now, Phil Torres was on an episode of Expedition 8 X, and he performed a dive into a submerged cemetery and discovered tombstones that had not been disturbed, to be complete with mementos that were left by loved ones, suggesting the government did not relocate the graves as promised. Interesting, right? I really want to go back and watch the Medea movies now. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Join me next time as we talk about um the urban legend Mothman. I'll see y'all next time.